Chris. I got sitting right here, current Undersheriff and Sheriff candidate, Mr. Jeff Pierce. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on and doing this with us. This is fun.
Nice seeing you.
The unfortunate part is it looks like Jeff's getting all the good light and I'm getting washed out because, well, there's too much light coming on this side. So, of course, you know, the guy who carries the gun gets the best light, right?
That's right.
But, okay, so hopefully we'll start getting some folks in here. I see them. We got one. Hey, whoever came in. But here's the other funny part. Now, you'll see green boxes pop up down there as well. They'll pop up right down here. That's people who are personal friends of mine on my page, like Christina. And she'll, you know, so you'll see people pop up like that. And then, of course, comments will pop up, like this one here from Chris. What's up, Chris?
Okay.
Now, here's what's interesting about Chris. He actually have a question for you. It's on my list, but he's over in Yuba County.
Hey,
but his question is very good and very relevant for here. Hey, Cassandra. All right, guys, we're gonna give it a minute here. Maybe we'll wait till we hit about 10, then I'll have Jeff go ahead and do his opening statement. And if you need to take more than 3 minutes, man, that's
okay.
It's your time.
I have so much experience that it could take a long time.
That's a very good point. See what we deal with? I mean, it's like all of our sheriff candidates are a bunch of nuts and goofballs, and that's great because that means they're good people. And, you know, I mean, we got to have people who are not like, you know, we don't need like the Clint Eastwood stoic thing all the time. You know, we need people to have a little bit of fun so that they get to know the public better. And
well, you know, it would have been more cool.
What's that?
Is that we would have gotten the Aero Squadron to take us up in one of the airplanes and did this live from the airplane, so we could see the buttes and everything, and kind of let the people see the buttes, and that'd be pretty cool.
That would have been cool, but you know, I'll be honest with you, I can just take my drone out, fly around, and then show them the video.
Okay, that's good. That's right.
But and it's crazy when you fly out there because it's G airspace. It's all open. I can fly out there up to 400. Mm-hmm. But you got to be careful at 400. There's some guys out there who fly some really like, you know, concept planes and stuff. I've seen them out there before, and you got to be careful. They'll get down there low.
Yeah. Then you have us crop dusters to do the same thing too.
And then the crop dusters, yeah, I've gone through that with Neil with Public Works in the airport. About making sure, because he knows that I know how to fly and I know how to be safe, because obviously I don't want to have an issue with a manned aircraft. So, yeah. But, yeah, that could have been fun, man. I wish you'd have said something.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We've been flying around town. Y'all have been like, where are they at now?
Get the right pilot would go upside down.
Yeah. Probably Joe, right?
Yeah, Joe.
Joe. So, Joe, if you come on and see this, we're talking bad about you, but that's all right. But you know what? Let's go ahead and let Jeff get going and let him do his opening statement. Then we'll get to our questions and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll go from there. So it's all yours, man.
Well, I'm Jeff Pierce, and I'm running for Sutter County Sheriff, and I was born into a military family. My father was in the Air Force, and my mother was a school teacher for first grade for 30-some years. Came up in this area. I was about 6-7 years old, been here ever since. Wow. And I went through being a Boy Scout, playing baseball, the same old things that a lot of kids do. My first job was when I was about 11-12 years old. My mom made us, we asked to go pick peaches, and we used to go out and pick peaches for about $3.50 a bin in those days, and until we learned how to correctly pick them.
Man, now people pick them and they have to pay $500 for a piece.
Well, we were after picking one at a time. We were told, hey, take a whole lemon, just dump it in there, scrape it in. So anyway, from there, my teenage years are spent on the farm and helping people farm, from picking up walnuts from the ground to putting sprinkler pipes, including safflower, which is a very prickly plant. And I entered into the being a loader driver and a flagger for a crop dusting firm, and eventually ended up being a pilot and being a crop duster. I went to, after graduation from high school, I went to Yuba College and got my administrative justice degree, and later got a criminal justice degree out of Sac State for criminal justice, and I'm a graduate of the National FBI Academy. I went about 2 weeks after 9/11. It was a very interesting time. I could talk a long time on that one.
Yeah,
saw a lot of
things.
Yeah, and then I've been with Sutter County. I've been law enforcement for 40 years, and I've been with Sutter County for 37 years. I've worked my way through the ranks. I'm currently second in command for the last 8 years, and I've been serving Sheriff Paul Parker, and now he's retiring, endorsing me along with 3 sheriffs. Here I am running for sheriff. I've done a lot of things in my career. That
was funny. I like that. Here I am.
Yeah, here I am. And I've done a lot of things in my career. I'm a workaholic. Anybody that tell you in the sheriff's office, I'm a workaholic. I'm pretty much accessible everywhere, anytime. I was in Spain a couple of years ago. They're calling me there. But I put together programs and upgraded technology such as our computer systems in cars and camera systems. I've done multiple 911 systems. We're trying to get 911 techs going, so we're working on that project now. And I put together our command van, which goes out throughout the county and to act as a command post in emergency situations.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That's a nice vehicle too.
Right, and it also carries an interoperability system with them, so we can connect different groups that have different radio frequencies together, so we can talk to them in groups.
Oh, okay. So like if you had to do, like if it was an emergency such as the Oroville Dam thing, you could pull in Yuba County, DWR, CHP, all these guys at once.
Yep, that's exactly what we did. We used that during the Oroville Dam situation. I have a radio guy that happens to be a reserve for us, and I think he's a top-notch guy in the state of California.
Oh, sweet.
So we went flawlessly on our communications.
It's always good to have good people.
Yeah. So. But I've worked at jail, I've worked patrol, narcotics, detectives, pretty much everywhere. I've been field training officer to fire instructor to a SWAT commander. I was officer a year twice with the Sutter County Sheriff's Office. I oversee the Aero Squadron. Put a lot of programs, including our community policing program, our school resource officer program. I've administered a lot of grants. I understand the budgets very well, inside out, personnel. I'm very community oriented. I love serving the people, and one reason I got in this job is because I want to do something for our community, our society, and I really enjoy it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, and not to worry, guys. I know he said narcotics, but I didn't bring any weed. So it's like I was waiting on somebody to come back and go, Chris, hide the weed.
Yeah. Well, when I went to narcotics, people would come up and say, you can't go to narcotics. You look like too much of a cop.
Well,
yeah. And then I started growing my scraggly beard out and grow a little patch here and there. Yeah. And I had long hair, and I was always able to buy dope from anybody.
Oh, wow.
In fact, one of my ex-officers came up to me and goes, Jeff, I did not know that was you. I told you would never look like a narc. I would have bought dope from you.
That's wild. Well, and it's funny, my son, my youngest son, a few years ago, we went to Venice Beach. And we happened to go on 420. My brother was down there from South Carolina doing something. And we just sat down on a little bench, and this guy comes up and goes, hey, man, you got a cigarette? You got some weed? And we're like, no. And he goes, okay, well, thank you, Mr. Officer, to both of us. He thought we were officers.
Oh, my goodness.
He was like, you guys are cops. And he started yelling. I'm like, dude, if we were cops, I'd have done shot you to shut you up. But yeah, he thought we were cops. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even close to a cop. So no, thank you.
That's funny.
And look at that. Look how reserved I am. No bacon jokes.
Yeah, no bacon jokes.
And no donut jokes.
We don't do donuts. This is a new era. I mean, it's the Starbucks phenomenon now.
Yeah. It's either that or bagels, right? Well, and I love doing the one. I did it with my grandfather, and it was always funny. He always smacked me in the back of the head, like, "Hey, Pops, you smell that?" And he'd go like, "What?" I'm like, "I smell bacon." So yeah, that's always been a big one with my family. So
you get all kinds of jokes.
Yeah.
I think I've heard all the jokes.
Probably so. In 37 years, you probably have heard them all.
Probably write a book.
Yeah, I know, and probably even the bad ones.
Yes, that's true.
And we know police officers have some bad jokes. I mean, bad meaning they're not for the general public.
No, that's our way of reducing the stress levels.
There you go. Hey, nothing wrong with that. No. Nothing wrong with that. No. Well, guys, I mean there's Jeff. Now we're going to ask him some questions, and as y'all know, these are not really softball questions. They're not like super hard, but they're not softball questions. So we're not going to ask anything stupid either. But so I am going to start with the first one here, the ones that we got from our post a few weeks ago. The first one was from Bill McClemens, and it says, please discuss the sanctuary state status and the role of the Sutter County Sheriff's Office will play with coordinating efforts with ICE and other federal law enforcement agencies, and then how are your actions going to make a safer Sutter County?
Well, it's called Senate Bill 54, and it was put on the counties where we could no longer contact ICE. I mean, obviously they used to do what's called detainers, and we'd hold them, but we can't do that anymore. We have to have a warrant from ICE, and for serious or violent crimes. There's a lot of crimes that we can't talk, like for instance serial thefts or multiple drunk drivers and stuff like that. They just kind of go out the door. And having having a place for ICE to come in the jail is a much safer place and environment to deal with those people who need to be deported and everything. And what basically has happened is now we've got these people in our communities, which is an officer of safety not only to ICE but also to us who may have to respond to take care of those officers that get in trouble, or the citizens that get caught in the middle. So that is a problem. But one thing our role is not immigration. That's a federal role, and it's constitutionally the federal job to do. We respond to calls no matter what your immigration status is, and we treat everybody fairly, and we do our job. We don't have the resources, and plus we'd be duplicating resources if we went out there doing immigration. So we try to focus our stuff on other things. So we're working. We're kind of following suit with the Orange County Sheriff's Office a little bit. We've kind of thought a while back, and Orange County decided to post their outdates on their prisoners inside the jail, and it serves a couple purposes. One, it allows ICE, if they want to know an outdate or a tentative outdate of a suspect, to be able to look at it and see what it is. But it also gives a chance for the family members who have inmates in there that want to know when the release date is, as well as letting the victims that were victimized by these people when they're getting out.
So that really serves three purposes.
Right. And
it's kind of the loophole around the state.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a loophole. I call it a fair thing to do.
Well, I agree with you. I'm just kind of, I mean, based on what they want to do, and then it gives the family who's looking for their loved one to, be released is a good thing. And then, of course, depending on the crime, the victims would surely want to know. So that's a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like and right now, we haven't gone live yet. We're waiting for our disclaimer to get approved by our county council, and then once that goes, and we'll put it live. And we are hoping that the supremacy clause will take effect and trump our state. It's kind of ironic that our state can thumb the nose at the federal laws.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, but yet, when the Orange County's other places thumb their nose at the state starts, not too happy about it.
Exactly.
But we're doing what the law is saying, or at least the cities are trying to follow what the federal government wants us to do.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So I hope that
I've wondered how that was going to happen as these different cities and counties are starting to say, no, state, we're not going to follow that. Right. And it's like, well, wait a minute. If the state can do it to the feds, why can't the locals do it to the state?
No, it's kind of like, if you don't like the law, you break it, because you're legislators.
Yeah, except you just don't get arrested like us normal people would.
Yeah, well, the states they're trying the 10th Amendment rights of the states being sovereign and everything, but it's clearly a federal issue.
Wow. Yeah. Well, and it is, and I mean, and hopefully, everything goes well and we start getting these problems solved. I mean, I think I agree with you. It doesn't matter what your immigration status is. If there's a crime happening and it's against you, whether you're legal or not, and you're the victim, you still are going to show up and do what needs to be done, because, I mean, it's a human life that you're trying to save, or whatever. Yeah. All right. So our next one comes from Chris Chilton. It's what is the plan, or what is your plan to handle the homeless problem? I know that whole homeless question. I hate it too, but it's a good question.
Yeah, it is a great question. As I think we've all seen that the United States, has been having a lot of homeless problems, and it is a social issue, and obviously law enforcement agencies have a small role in it, and our role is to do the enforcement when we can. The problem with the enforcement, obviously, you saw what the results was when we went down to enforce it, and we got an injunction saying you can't do it unless you got transitional housing. And luckily, before that, the Board of Supervisors did a good job in putting together a citizen committee to try to work with the citizens and come up with an idea where we can put this transitional housing. And
I know they've come up with some great ideas too.
They have. They've got a couple locations and stuff. They're trying to get some faith-based organizations such as Glad Tidings and everything to try to get involved in it. And once we get the transitional housing and we have the ability to move those people there, and the ones that don't want to go, then they're open and subject for the camping ordinance. But keep in mind, our camping ordinance, the first offense is a $50 fine. And so you go to court. Yeah. Or you don't go to court, it becomes a warrant.
Yeah, you get an FTA.
Yeah, and we take you to the jail, and it's under $10,000 bail. You get what's called an own recognizance, like a citation. Here's another date to appear. Next time, it's another infraction. I think it's $100. It doesn't become a misdemeanor until the third one. And then if we do arrest them on the warrants, then we're responsible for taking all their property, which might be junk to you, but to them it means something to them.
So we worldly possessions.
We have to store all that stuff and everything. So it's a problem. I have is going to start getting a little bit bigger. And plus, you have classification problems. I mean, if you have a Norteño or a Sereno, you can't put them in the same cell together.
Yeah.
So both cells hold 5 each. And, I mean, sometimes not all of them get filled up because you have to separate them and classify them.
Oh, yeah, because you can't put the Norteños and
Exactly.
the Serenos in the same. Yeah.
I mean, that's
or then you're going to be dealing with murders in the jail.
You're going to have assaults and everything like that. And they do. They try to figure a way to get out and get the other guy and give him the licks.
Wow. It's crazy. Well, our next question, it was one that was kind of answered at the forum, and then I thought about not having it, and I discussed it with the person who asked it. And just in case folks didn't get to see this at the forum, and hey, if you guys have got questions, I know for some reason the connection showed us that it went low. I don't know what was going on. I apologize for that. It gets a little weird. If you guys have questions, we might want to kind of hold them to the end because things fly through here pretty fast on the comments and stuff. Sometimes we may miss them, and if we do, I apologize. Maybe they can get answered later, on the comment itself on Facebook. But this question, so the question is kind of a twofold. Why do you want this position, and what qualifications set you apart from the other candidates? Which I know is going to be like so y'all go ahead and get some popcorn and a soda. The guy's got so many daggone qualifications, it's going to take forever to to that.
Well, I won't repeat in all the qualifications before because it'll be redundant.
Yeah.
I'm the person that knows this sheriff's office inside out. I've built up relationships with the county, the citizens, different agencies. I know the policies, procedures, understanding the budgeting. I'm the only one here that can just hit the ground running, and I've served it for 37 years. I've farmed in the community for 30 years. I've been youth and high school football coaching. I've sat on the Salvation Army advisory boards with doing homeless issues and everything. I've been all kinds of things. I want our community to be safe, and I want us to be able to have a community where we can raise our kids safely. And I love the job. If I had to do it again, I'd do it again. I could have retired a long time ago, but it's nothing to do with money. It's what I want to do, what I feel God wants me to do, and I want to move us forward into the future. And it's a challenge to me. It's kind of like an adrenaline rush trying to solve problems and work with the community.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah, and we won't get into the qualifications things because he's talked about those already. And we did do the live for the Sheriff's Forum a few weeks ago, so if you need them, you can go there. And then there's another one coming up, I believe, on the 7th.
We have one on the 2nd. There's the Chamber and the Appeal Democrat.
Yeah, so we'll be there for that one doing a live as well. So there'll be plenty of time to get those answers. This one here, I don't know this person. I'll be honest, when I saw the name, I thought he was kind of young, so then I thought it was a really good question. So this one's from Joshua Collision. Oh, I'm sorry, the last one was from Liz Cervantes. You know Liz.
Yeah, I know Liz. We're good friends, aren't we, Liz?
So this one here is from Joshua Collision. What makes a sheriff, and what do you believe should be the core values of a sheriff?
The sheriff needs to be honest with his people and have integrity, doing the right thing. He's got to understand the laws, what the community needs are, be able to meet those needs, or at least try to meet those needs some way. And he's got to be a person of experience, a person who has a proven record, a person who has achievements. And I can honestly tell you, if you put the resumes flat down and you're objective, I'm clearly the most qualified person for the job. But it takes dedication and want to really help society.
Yeah. Well, and I think, something you got to look at is, I mean, I don't know Sheriff Parker personally, but, from my understanding, he's been kind of on that moving towards the retirement for a few years now. So really, you're pretty much talking to the guy who's been running the daggum department anyway. So, I mean, it's kind of like he's been the sheriff within a sheriff.
Well, a lot of people don't understand what an undersheriff does. That's
true.
An undersheriff, my job is to be able to tell the sheriff, the elected sheriff, the pros and the cons of an issue. Yeah. And I give a recommendation. And I have to be honest with the sheriff, whether he likes it or not. I can't be a yes man. I've got to be able to tell him, hey, that sucks, or you shouldn't be doing that, or anything like that. Yeah. And he ultimately makes the decisions. And I'm responsible for carrying out his direction on how he wants this sheriff's office to operate. And I carry out that direction whether I agree or disagree with him. And that's my job to do. And I've done it faithfully for almost the last 8 years as undersheriff.
So if you've been wondering what an undersheriff does, there's your explanation. Because I didn't know all that. That's pretty interesting. I mean, I kind of knew they were kind of like the guys who kind of do the, whatever the sheriff says needs to be done, because that's your ranking officer, obviously. And then pretty much the undersheriff kind of is the guy who runs the department anyway, because the sheriff's not going to do it. They got bigger stuff to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then our last question is another one from Bill McClemens. Now, Bill's one of these guys who comes on my lives all the time.
Yeah.
He had like 7 or 8 good questions that he posted, and I had to go through them. I'm like, man, Bill, you're killing me. It's like, which ones do I use? So, I mean, if you go back and see the post, and of course, you're welcome to see whatever's there and even respond to him if you wish.
You just probably have to show me.
But his last one is, what is the greatest law enforcement need that you see that our community should benefit from that is not currently being provided by the Sheriff's Department?
Well,
he says traffic enforcement, but I know he's not.
No, it's not going to be traffic enforcement and stuff. We have a community programs that we have, and
mm-hmm.
during the 2008 crash and everything, we've kind of had to limit them a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're trying to gear them up. We have a Ready Fox program where the dispatchers go out with 911, and we want to be able to educate the community, work in partnership with them. We have vacation watches, things like that. I do want to really work hard and trying to strengthen our schools with reference to security and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
And our kids are precious resources, and I think the community would benefit if we can find some solution in hardening up the schools, working the schools, which we do. We have what's called an ALICE program, which goes out and teaches how to respond to active shooters and things like that.
Great.
And I'm in support of Assembly Gallagher's Assembly Bill 2067, where he's trying to harden up all the schools by giving some type of resource for each school. It's very costly, but like I keep saying, it's a lot cheaper than a bullet train. And
you talking about that, I'm going to throw a little quick question of my own in there. How do you feel about the concept of either retired officers, off-duty officers, or properly vetted veterans doing security at our schools?
Oh, I'm all for it, but I think that should be a school board decision how they want to do it. It's just like arming teachers. If those teachers don't want to be armed, then fine. If they don't want to be armed, that's fine too.
As long as they partner with you guys and make sure that we've got the right people in there being armed and stuff, then
Well, why don't we allow our CCW people to go back on schools with CCW? The legislators took that away from us. And I mean, right there. I mean, that would really help out a lot.
Yeah, it would. Well, I mean, I think you've probably have seen the statistics that kind of prove, an armed community is a safe community.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Overall, I mean, obviously there's going to be some issues in there, but overall, I think, it's pretty much an armed community is a safe community, because if you don't know who's carrying, you're probably not going to mess with them.
Yeah, and the good guys are going to carry weapons, and the bad guys are going to carry them too. So why are we restricting all the Exactly. Let's start prosecuting these bad guys.
Preach, brother Jeff. Preach.
I'm a Second Amendment man, so
yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
I firmly believe in the Bill of Rights and everything like that, and I love veterans, and I'll do anything for veterans because they fought for our country and everything like that, and they fought for our rights to keep our privileges that we have, and I believe those are our God-given rights.
Yeah.
And the Bill of Rights, and it's interesting how the Bill of Rights got in our Constitution. There's a lot of fighting just to get that in.
Well, you got to look at it this way. Look how long the Bill of Rights have been there, and the country's been doing pretty daggone good with them. Well, all of a sudden now we're trying to get rid of them.
Right. But, my job as a sheriff is to support and defend the Constitution.
Yeah, that's a whole other campaign thing right there, right?
Yeah.
That's when you're running for president or something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that was all of our questions. That was our 5 questions from the members of the page. And then of course, if we see any pop up here, Jeff, from now on, when you speak in public, this is how you speak.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm not a politician, so I'm not one of those guys who can just sit there and have the gift for gab and stuff. So,
there you go.
But if I'm a
one-on-one, thanks for that,
great.
Joe.
Yeah, thanks.
And Joe's probably asked the question: an armed society is a polite society. That's a true statement. I know the last one we did, Joe had quite a few questions, and I missed them because they scroll so fast, and you can see it goes pretty quick.
Real quick.
And so we didn't get to them, and I kind of felt bad. And well, we'll see what happens. And what's what we got here? Oh, good job, Dad.
Oh gosh, that's my little one.
Oh, so
he's not little. He's going to the court class now at the at the Yuba College. He
Oh
wants to become
yeah,
a
oh that's
correctional
cool.
officer.
So basically, you kind of put in your own cheering section and kind of
I
inserted
guess
him into the
so.
live.
I didn't even know he was listening and stuff.
Hey, I didn't know he even knew our
Yeah.
page existed. So,
No.
but we've been doing some promotion, so I'm sure it's come around somewhere. And who's this? Jeff? Oh, greatest man.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, those are my
Wow.
kids.
Well,
Okay,
all of a sudden,
that's unfair.
all of a sudden, the
Kids are
Pierce
jumping
clan's
over. My
coming
God,
out.
they're coming out.
It's like we thought you
they
only
might-
had like 6 relatives. Next thing we know, there's like 400 people out here going, I'm a Pierce.
They must want to borrow some money. That's it.
There you go. Well, you know, and it's funny because, I mean, obviously your kids are older. I mean, because mine are like 26 and 22 now. And, you know, and you said, you know, kids are our precious, our
Yes, they
most
are.
precious resource. And, of course, being a parent, I'm sure he can agree, they're also our biggest pain in the butt.
Well, being a granddad's even better. You can give them back.
There you go. Yes, he probably does what I want to do. Give him a bowl of sugar, fill him full of Mountain Dew, and send him back to mom and dad.
That's what I do. I spoil them.
Ooh, there you go. That's. I'm not the grandpa yet. I'm getting there, but hopefully soon. All right, guys. Well, you know, Jeff had great answers to these questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and we're going to give him the opportunity to kind of give a closing statement, and then we'll let him get back to probably things that are far more important than doing this, like, you know,
Campaigning.
campaigning and making sure the sheriff's department's actually running like it's supposed to, and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's all you, man.
Well, thanks for letting me come in here and talk to you and kind of kick back, and it's been a great opportunity. We all know that in a few weeks our voters are going to be going to the booth, voting the new sheriff, and I think it's very important we get a sheriff that's experienced, that's got the knowledge, got the know-how, the integrity, the honesty, and who has experience to hit the ground running and to move the sheriff's office forward. I hope you all consider me for the sheriff, and I will be accessible, and I will do a great job, and I'll be one of those sheriffs that just loves to do what I do.
Oh man, that's great. And now I did see one thing pop up here, so I think we'll throw that one up there.
Okay, throw it in.
What are your thoughts on what does it say here? It says tell us about your plans for a posse, and Joe there wants to be on the posse.
Well, you know, the posse I think he's referring to is what Sheriff Arcpile down in Arizona had. And I've been asked that question a few times, and I think it's a good idea, but I need to know a little bit more about it. And I think it's something. It's basically where you need a group of people who want to stand up to the federal government when they come and infringe on our rights.
Yeah.
And you need a sheriff to be able to step up, and you need to have that backing. And that's what the posse is. They're the people who are backing you up and are going to help you when the federal government comes down and tries to push something on you that isn't constitutional or something like that. And
Well,
I will look at it and see if that's something that we can do, and I'm very receptive to that.
Oh, cool. Well, and you need to know how to ride a horse.
Well, that's the thing now. It's all ATVs.
Yes, all ATVs. Yeah, it's like a few more horses than 1 horsepower. Now you're getting like 36 horsepower. But yeah, we always made jokes about that when I worked over at Yuba County with Sheriff Black, because she wanted horses, you know, for the posse. So they all had a bunch of horses, and you know, it was like you got to know how to ride a horse. And I had one officer tell me, he goes, "Dude, I'm scared to death of horses, but I want to be on the posse because I thought it was cool." I'm like, "What? You got to get your spurs, and you got to do that ching, ching, ching when you walk, and you better be quick on the draw and that kind of thing." We had some fun with it, but
I haven't ridden a horse since I was 16.
I haven't ridden one. About the same time for me. It's been that long since I've been on one. But yeah, no, this is great. I really appreciate Jeff being here. I appreciate you guys coming in to watch. You know, we think it's important for, or at least I think, well, let me put it this way. Let me rephrase that so I say it correctly, because you know me, my brain, all over the place, ADHD, right? I think it's great that we can get our candidates in here, have a few minutes to chit-chat in a more relaxed, open, easy forum. I mean, yeah, I could have been sitting here with the heat cranked up and making him sweat a little bit, and it's like, no, man, because I don't want to sweat. So, and unfortunately, this is not dual climate control. Otherwise, his side would have been hot, mine would have been cool.
I've turned yours up real high.
Yeah, or he'd have cranked mine up high. But yeah, but like I said, I mean, it's great that you guys came in. I hope you guys got some really great information from this. Jeff, we really appreciate you coming in here, man.
Well, thank you.
And taking some time out of your day, of course, campaigning and all that kind of stuff. But at least you got a few people you got to campaign with.
Yep, that's true.
yeah, so we're gonna be done here in just a minute, and then we'll be heading over. It's Yuba City. We'll be heading over to the city council chambers to do the forum over there tonight. So we'll have that up for you in just a little while, and then of course tomorrow night we've got the third sheriff candidate, Dennis Houck, 5 p.m. doing his live in here in the car with us. And I think that's about it, guys. Seriously, I appreciate you guys coming in here and doing this. Hope you enjoy it. Jeff, again, man, I really appreciate it.
Not a problem.
And believe it or not, he didn't come curled up in a cruiser. No lights, no sirens. He didn't bring a limo, nothing like that. He just came rolling up, and then there he was.
Yep,
so
just kind of, that's what we do. We sneak up.
Well, I was kind of expecting to be sitting here and him come up and just, something metal and go, and I'd be like, yes, sir. Like, license and registration.
That's right.
It's like, dude, I'm not driving. And they all know I don't drive, so yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I think my wife's ready to get back in the car too. She's probably tired of sitting outside waiting for us. So again, Jeff, I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys had fun, and as usual, I will talk to you when I talk to you. See ya. Okay, come on.